Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I was lucky enough to be invited back to do a collab with 6 other Aussie artists. Our theme was 7 Deadly Sins and I got gluttony. So this time round I got to go real disgusting. As you can see, it's fucking gross. Don't know what goes through my head at times. But if you, for some crazy reason, want to recreate this, then keep on watching. I use my face cast to build on the mask prosthetics. I'm just using some clay to cover my eyeballs to give me some room to blink and shit. And then I put together latex and some baby powder to make this thick paste, which is really buildable. Pop a bit of latex on your finger and smooth it out. I used a spatula with latex on that as well, just to carve out the little eyes. There wasn't much to this mask. It was kind of like the more simple the better, but I wanted to look like raw flesh. I just created some cuts with the spatula as well and then built upon areas with some more latex paste when I thought it needed heightening. And then for the teeth I used Polymorph plastic, so just grabbed a glass of hot water, chucked in some balls, and then I molded it into a long, thin, skinny strip, and I just snipped away at it to make the teeth. It was cool because it actually made a natural curve in the teeth and I didn't even try and do that, but it just turned out bloody awesome. I had to build up the mouth area and I let the mask dry before I put the teeth in, dickhead. So I'm just building up the lips again with some more latex paste, and I press the teeth into place and let it dry with the teeth. The latex doesn't hold the polymorph plastic very well, so I end up taking the teeth out later and hot glued them into place, which worked out awesome anyway. Oh, and note, these teeth are fucking sharp. Keep that in mind. I wanted little mouth pieces on my chest, so I made the gums again onto just a flat surface with the latex paste. I had heaps of teeth left over, so I thought I'd use them up as well. And I made an extra 2 mouths for my chest. I wanted them to be quite similar to the mask mouth. And once it had dried, I powdered underneath the mask. It came straight off the face cast, nice and easy, and then I trimmed the edges with some scissors. Also trimmed around the mouth and around the eyeballs just to neaten everything up. Here's me taking the teeth out. See how easy they come out? Totally shit. But a bit of hot glue fixes everything. And it was probably a good thing because I had to colour my mask, so removing the teeth was a lot easier. I just covered the mask with this cream blend foundation from Mehron to give it that initial skin tone. And then I did the same thing to the mouthpieces. I then stippled over a darker brown from the cream blend sticks from Mehron and just deepened some areas, gave the skin some texture. A really cool way of doing this is just skimming the sponge lightly over the surface, and this picks up the texture naturally. So it makes it look like you've done a lot of work when in actual fact you haven't done shit. And then I stippled over the salmony colour from the Ben Nye Burns wheel to give it that fleshy tone. And then colouring the gums with the dark red from that same wheel. I then deepened some cuts and around the eyes with the dark red from the same Ben Nye Burns wheel. The thing that I love about this wheel is it makes everything look fleshy without trying. Oh, here I'm just using my little splatter brush with some red body paint just to give a little bit of skin texture and some rawness. And then I deepened each tooth hole with a dark blue from the kryolan, kryolan bruise wheel, and also the cuts. Now, this bit I fucked up. I should have gone in with the water activated splatter after I applied the varnish because it kind of made everything pink. So I had to go back in with a foundation. So it ended up turning out okay anyway. It just wasn't as shiny as I initially wanted. And here I'm just hot gluing in those fangs, and they are still in place today, so it worked pretty well. I then deepen the eye area with the same dark blue that I used initially, and now I'm going in with the Ben Nye Scab Blood just to apply some rawness and some realism. And that's it, that's the mask. So now I'm just doing exactly the same thing onto the mouthpieces. And I made sure that I used the same colour story in the same patterns so it looked similar to the mask. See, I fixed it then, so I did the varnish and then I did the blood splatter, which worked heaps better, and they stayed nice and shiny. It's time for the application now, so I just put my hair in 2 braids and applied this cheap ass bald cap because I'm going to chuck it out anyway, it's all good. And I'm just applying Prozaid to my chest and to the mouthpieces first, let that dry clear, and then it's ready to be stuck on. These edges on these mouthpieces were quite thick, but that's okay because I go in with a gross, fleshy, thick material after, and I cover all of those edges. Oh, and yeah, paint black in between the teeth before you apply the mouthpieces. I realised I fucked up, it was way too late, so I didn't want to rip that back off. So I went in with a black watercolour behind all the areas that are going to be seen through the mask to make them look hollow. I realised what I'd done here, so it was a bit of a struggle. It is doable, but yeah, make sure you paint before you put the mouthpieces down. I'm just mapping out where my mask sits so I know where to apply the other burns material. This is literally just breadcrumbs, gelatin, hot water, and a little bit of red food colouring. And I'm just applying that with a pop stick around the edges that I need to blend out. And then to blend that into the rest of my body, I literally covered my whole body in the shit. It feels really disgusting, really sticky, but yeah, it made for a good photo, so suck it up. I'm using a spoon to spoon this onto my head and to my neck area. I kind of stipple the product to give it a fair bit of texture. I realised after I applied the mask, the mixture could have been slightly more pink, but that's okay. I end up blending all that in anyway. I'm just applying some glue over my brows to protect them in case I get Prozaid on my brows, because I've done that before. Trust me, that shit will wax your fucking eyebrows out. And I'm applying some scab blood into the deep areas just to give it a little bit of texture and some rawness in those deep areas. Okay, here I'm just applying the Prozaid on my main areas, and then I'm pressing the mask on. Yeah, it stayed. Prozaid's bloody amazing. It hurts a little bit when you pull it off, but that's okay. Sacrifices we got to make, and this is it. So the application probably took me about 45 minutes. It was next to nothing. All the work is in the prep work, but it's totally worth it. Like, I can keep this mask now if I need to use them for something else. And yeah, so pretty simple. If you guys recreate this, make sure you tag me in it. I'd love to see it. And if you want to see more gory tutorials this Halloween, make sure you subscribe. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Bye!